What up, people? I'm continuing with my Babylon study. I found some pretty interesting things that I didn't discuss in my last video. And a lot of people have, they failed to connect the dots with the Masonic Order and Mystery Babylon, but there's a connection. And the irony of it is when you study the Greek text of Revelations 17 and 18, the United States meets all the criteria and definitions of the context of the words used in Revelation 17 and 18. It's ironic, but it just shows that the United States is Mystery Babylon, the great harlot, and it's undeniable. There's so much proof when you study the origins of the scripture. I can only imagine what it'd be like to study the Hebrew text, because we don't have the Hebrew text. But, we have to work with what we have. They do exist. I've only seen chapter 2 in the original Hebrew, but they're out there. Anyways, the irony of it is the word that is used to describe mystery, has multiple layered meanings to it. And we know the United States is a mysterious nation. We know that on the outside, it has a perceived power and rules and regulations and of governance. Then we know that it has an inner governance, a shadow government that rules the outside as well. It's self-evident by the currency, the architecture. What I mean by architecture is if you do, like, for example, the Washington Monument, for example, there is numerical values to a lot of the United States architecture of how things were placed and where they're placed and things like that. The Masonic Order, they have a system of numerology in which they communicate to their other initiates with. You see, they speak in numerology a lot, hidden to the regular people, unless you're initiate and you learn these secrets. This nation is a Masonic nation. People think that the Great Revolution was something that just happened, that the people came together. No, it was a Masonic conspiracy from the beginning. The Masons came to America and they wanted to establish a Masonic government. And the way Masons think is you're not even really considered a free man unless you're an initiate in their secret society. The Constitution wasn't even made for the average person. It was for their Masonic initiates. So, with that being said, with that kind of understanding, and we look at the word mystery in Revelation 17, we could see the context on a deeper level. Here's the definition used to describe mysterion, from the Greek word, mysterion. A mystery, or secret doctrine. A mystery, secret of which initiation is necessary. Meaning that to understand the mysteries, you got to be initiated, just like the Masonic Order, which is the shadow government of the United States. So when we see this prophecy about Mystery Babylon, the huge, the great, the big, because the context of the great, of Babylon the Great, is humongous. It's huge. And so this word mystery could be used to describe a nation that is ruled by a secret order, by a order of initiates. You see, and the United States fulfills this 100%. You know, because this nation is a Masonic nation. The Scottish Freemasons headquarters is in Washington, D.C. That's their main headquarters. This is a Masonic nation. We are ruled by the Masonic order. That's why every single town, every single city has lodges. And they have different degrees and different levels. And you don't learn all the secrets till you reach the highest level of the 33 degrees. And the irony of 33 is the number of the angels that fell from heaven that were casted down. It was 33. Or this is just self-evidence of the Masonic order tampering with our scriptures. Because Revelations 13 just, talks about the mark of the beast, and its number 666, 666. But I have yet to see the evidence of anywhere else from the prophets that this mark will add up to 666. I really don't know. But, maybe that's the only prophecy where it gives us this detail, because I've read a lot of different prophecies, lost books, and each prophecy that I found will have a certain detail that the other prophets didn't describe in the other writings. So, it doesn't mean that it's wrong just because it's the only book that says it, in my opinion. But another interesting thing I found when I was studying the Greek translations of Revelation 18. I gotta retype it in. I lost my place. Hold on a second. Alright, Revelation 17. Here we go. Let's see, type in 18. And I'll go to verse 24. Or I'll start off on 23. Let me see. No, it's in 24. Anyways, there's this belief that Mystery Babylon is this spiritual place, and it's a spiritual entity. When the scripture tells us to flee Babylon, it's a lot of people, especially Christians, are the ones that actually made this theory up. And a lot of messianics are still passing down these lies and teaching falsehood. But and a lot of it comes from the bad translations from the Greek. If you study the Greek, you're going to get a different definition. And a lot of people think that Mystery Babylon is this spiritual entity because it says that in her was found all the blood of the prophets. And when it means all, that's saying that, like, in history, So there's this idea that it's a spiritual thing, because how could this future nation, if it was a physical nation, have all the blood of the prophets found inside of her? You see, that's not what it was saying. So when you study the Greek, you get the real context, and it's talking about the set apart people inside Babylon. And, the word prophet that's used in the Greek, propheton, it has multiple meanings, because, our idea of a prophet is somebody who hears from the Almighty directly, who is a spokesman for Yahuah and has authority to speak on Yahuah's behalf. That's what a prophet is. But the Greek definition of prophet does not mean this. And, let's look at the definition right here. A prophet, interpreter, or forthteller of divine will. A prophet, poet, a person gifted at expositing divine truth. So under this definition, somebody like myself would be considered a prophet, because we're gifted at expositing divine truth. We could discern things from the scriptures. We have wisdom, you see. But, the context of what Revelation 18 isn't talking about the prophets, like Jeremiah, Eliyahu, Elijah, Elisha. You see, it's talking about the set apart people who have wisdom. That's my opinion, at least. So this word from the Greek has multiple layered meanings. So I think it was a mistranslation. And there's another word that we should look at, to understand the context. The English translation says the blood of the prophets and of the saints. You see, that doesn't really make any sense, because this is completely mistranslated. You see, right there it says, of prophets, but the Greek word to describe saints does not mean saints. It just means sacred, set apart. People that are set apart. So when you properly translate the Greek to English, it should say, somebody that has, somebody who has discernment of truth, who is set apart, instead of the blood of the prophets and the saints. That would make a lot more sense in the English translation in the context. But that I have a new theory from this translation, of something that I discovered, is what Revelation 18 is actually, I think, is describing is a future prophecy that some type of Holocaust is going to happen in the United States. And it may not be a Holocaust like the Nazi Germany, but I think the United States is going to kill the set apart people that are within our borders. And that's basically, I think, what is being described here. If you read, I think I'm trying to remember what book it was from. I'm not sure if it was Jubilees or if it was, I can't remember which Apocrypha book I read, but it is written somewhere about the Sodom and Gomorrah. And, it's not written in the Bible, the 66 books, it's part of the Apocrypha scripture. It is written that about Sodom and Gomorrah, why it got destroyed. And what Sodom and Gomorrah did is they killed an innocent person and tortured them to death. And that's one of the reasons why Yahuah rained down brimstone and fire on them, was because they started they were killing innocent people. So Yahuah destroyed them with fire because they had shed innocent blood, set apart people. I don't know if the people were actually set apart, but they were innocent. So Yahuah destroyed them with fire. And I think what Revelation 18 is describing, the reason why Babylon the Great is going to get burned up, is because they killed Yahuwah's people. Not all the prophets, you see. They mistranslated it to say prophets, but I think that was a mistranslation. That's not the context of what was being said. If we had the Hebrew text, we could clear it up, but we don't have it. We only have the Greek, so we could only speculate on certain things. But, I don't think that, it's parabolic. I think this is describing a future event. And I think the United States is going to come after the Nitzarim Jews here. So I think we should take heed to the warning that we should flee Babylon, because it says that she's blood drunk with the set apart people, with people that are gifted with, interpreting the truth of Elohim. And that's basically what the translation is saying. So I think Babylon the Great is going to attack Yahuwah's people, and we're in grave danger of being in this country. This prophecy is a warning to leave. And people will die, the ones that don't leave and take heed to the warnings. And the blood that the United States will shed will bring its destruction. And that's why Yahuwah is going to burn this country it's going to destroy this nation. Anyways, those are my thoughts about it. Leave a comment if you have any more questions, or if you have any new information, because I'm always open for dialogue. I don't consider myself a prophet, a teacher, or any of those things. I'm just a watchman, a truth seeker, and trying to understand the words of the prophets. Anyways, I'm going to cut this video out.